Hello once more. My name is Chris Ekwekurede. I'm an engineer, a writer, publisher of 9 books. The 10th is in the works. And I'm an elder in the Church of Christ. Welcome to my channel. And as always, I'll be pleased if you will subscribe to this channel and share my videos. Now, there is an urgent matter that I need to give you my take on. That is why I'm making this video. Now, last Monday, 19th of December this year, 2022, a high court sitting in Abuja convicted Doyin Okupe and sentenced him to 2 years imprisonment on charges of money laundering. Now, Okupe escaped 7 terms in jail by paying the optional fine of 13 million naira. Now, for those of us who do not know, Doyin Okupe is the Director General of the Presidential Campaign Council for Peter Obi, our presidential candidate in the Labour Party. Now, the development has gotten many Obidients worried, and quite rightly so. But you know what? I am not worried, not one bit. Now, before the enemies of progress poison your mind, I want to state categorically to you that Peter Obi is not Doyin Okupe. I repeat, Peter Obi is not Doyin Okupe. In fact, when the news broke during his campaign in one of the South states, Peter Obi told questioners, I am simply soldiering on. I'm not looking back. In fact, let me read to you a quote from what Peter Obi said when the news came to him. He said, quote, "In my life, I've never stayed where they dropped me. Otherwise, I would have been where they dropped me," unquote. And I like that response to the development. You see, the hurdles that are placed on the racetrack are not placed there as obstacles to stop the hurdler from winning. No, they are placed there to test the will and the strength and the character of the sprinter. That is the true mark of a leader. And that is what Peter Obi has showed in his response to the breaking news. You see, if you do not want mock or debt to be thrown at you, then don't join politics. Because the moment you join politics, especially when you are a progressive type like Peter Obi, your enemies will be looking for every avenue to attack you, to undo you, and stop your race. Peter Obi is on this race, and everybody, well, perhaps not everybody is rational, but majority of Nigerians know today that he is on track to win the presidential election. So his opponents will do anything, everything to stop him. Now, in this episode, I want to share with you my take on this breaking news. The whole thing reminds me of the story in the Bible concerning Jesus and Judas Iscariot. Now, Judas Iscariot in the Bible was one of the close disciples of Jesus Christ, who eventually became a thief and a betrayer of his master. Now, Jesus was not held guilty, for the offenses that Judas committed. In fact, the enemies of Jesus had been trying every means and avenue to bring him down, to prematurely stop his ministry, and couldn't find anything against Jesus. So in the end, what did they do when they found an access through Judas? They exploited it. I say to you, that is precisely what the enemies of progress and the opponents of Peter Obi are trying to do through Doyin Okupe. They can't get to Peter. So what do? They get to someone close to him. But you see, we see through the game plan of the enemies of Nigeria. The plan will simply not work. It won't work. Nigeria is on course for a change that we all have been clamoring for, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to stop that journey. Nothing. Ask yourself, why is it that they are doing this now? Why now? Doyin Okupe was charged in 2019, more than 3 years ago, by the EFCC for money laundering. That was long before Peter Obi had any political association with Doyin Okupe. Why didn't they convict him in those 3 years? And by the way, the charges for which Okupe has been convicted are a fallout of his services as an employee of the Goodluck Jonathan presidency. It has nothing to do with the Labour Party. It has nothing to do with Peter Obi for that matter. And you know what? Doyin Okupe was convicted for carrying out official business, transacting official business in cash that was in excess of 5 million naira. Under the money laundering laws, cash transactions of that nature beyond 5 million naira are to be executed through the banks. And you know what? And by the way, the activities under which Doyin Okupe has been convicted were activities that were authorized by President Goodluck Jonathan himself. They were authorized. It is noteworthy to me that Doyin Okupe has not been convicted for trying to corruptly enrich himself with official money. No, that is not it. In fact, the judge stated categorically, even though the EFCC brought such charges, the judge said that she hadn't seen any proof of corruption as alleged by the EFCC. So what has happened? What has basically happened is that Doyin Okupe has been convicted on procedural grounds. And that is something that we all may be unaware of in our own personal transactions and may be guilty of without us knowing. For example, do you know that if you travel to the United States of America and cash more than $10,000 is found on you, you could come under money laundering charges? Do you know that? And that is even if the money you are carrying is legitimately earned money. You see, the money laundering laws expect you to carry that kind of cash through official bank instruments. And that is the lesson in this for all of us. Ignorance is no excuse under the law. And that is the reason we must constantly be on our toes. You see, the Money Laundering Act is an act that is targeted against trying to make crime money look legitimate. That is the purpose of the Money Laundering Act. It is basically to ensure that all our financial transactions are clean, they are legitimate, and void of corruption. And the act, enjoys international acceptance. Now, some people, want to make what has happened to Doyin Okupe rub off on Peter Obi. They will want to charge that Obi is guilty by association. But then I ask, was Jesus guilty of corruption for making Judas his treasurer? Did Jesus partake of the judgment that eventually befell Judas Iscariot? The answers are no. You see, it is impossible to play politics without association with people. And it is impossible to assess the nitty-gritties around political associates and even friends. It's impossible. You see, Personal integrity is Peter Obi's trump card against his opponents, and they know it. That is the situation right now. That is why they will do everything with this development. And because perception is a strong weapon for judging people's character, whether rightly or wrongly, I think that it is necessary for the Labour Party to preserve the integrity of Peter Obi by asking Doyin Okupe to step down as the DG of the campaign council. I say this not because it is a compulsion, not because it is something that must be done as of right, but I say it because for me it is expedient to do so at this time. It is expedient for Doyin Okupe to step down at this time. You see, the interest of Nigeria must override all and every personal interest. If the Labour Party steps down Doyin Okupe, it will be projecting itself as being responsive to every appearance of corruption and indiscretion. You see, the new Nigeria we are all clamoring to build requires these standards. It does. That is why we all are rooting for the Obi Dati ticket. It is a clean ticket, and we want to maintain it so. That is why I call on all obedience. We will never look back. Backward never, forward ever. We must continue our mission to massively vote for Peter Obi February next year. We must. And let me ask you, you don't collect your PVC. If you haven't done so, please go and do so. Time they go. That's my take on what has just happened. Now, I want you to like and share this video, and by all means, subscribe. Obi Dati forever. God bless you.